Men's mental health at this state in 2023 is the worst that it's ever been in recorded history. And now there's all of these movements telling men that they need to talk about their feelings and reach out and blah blah blah. It's not helping anyone. Men who are truly trying to heal are focusing on themselves, they're focusing on their productivity, they're focusing on their grind. And that is probably the problem. These men that are so dedicated to their purpose probably are doing so because they themselves have problems that they don't want to address with other people. They're far too big to reach out to some random famous person who says, oh yeah, if you just text me, you know, I'll be in my DMs 24/7. You know that's not gonna happen. Attention is something that men are not gifted with at birth. This is why more and more men are drowning themselves in self-development content rather than addressing their big issues that they have. Sure, it feels good in the short term to make progress on something while ignoring your damaged past behind, but it will always come and catch up with you. And that's why men have a lot to learn from women who gossip. Now, I know what you're thinking. Women gossiping is probably the most unproductive thing that you have witnessed. I remember in high school when I was first exposed to gossip and I saw the drama that came from it, from talking about these small little insignificant things that have no bearing on how we should live our lives. And I was like, what is the point? Why do women get so caught up in these tiny things? Fast forward 6 years into me being out of high school, I found myself in a state of pretty bad mental health, and I felt like I didn't have anyone I could truly reach out to. In my friend group, there were people who would tell me, you know, if you ever feel any type of way about your mental health, just reach out to me. But there was always this little voice in my head telling me that I've never talked about these things with my male friends before. How am I gonna bring up these facts without them instantly calling me out for being a pussy? And that's probably the biggest problem within the male space. Men need to gossip, but not in the way that women do. Men need to have that space and share their feelings, but again, not in the way that women do. Women usually do this by gossiping about all the tiny insignificant little things that come out about their day. They'll talk about what their friend said to their other friend and their boyfriend's cousin who went to the party who hit on her, and yeah, I'm already lost. Honestly, I don't know how they keep up with it. But it helps them with their mental health in a way that we men just don't understand. But I will help you understand by the way of relating it to the gym. If you want to build muscle, there's a core principle of progressive overload, which means that you have to start with the small weights and progressively overload that weight. If you want to jump to the largest weight, you probably won't be able to do it, or if you try and force yourself to do it, it will be the most excruciating experience you will ever feel. You won't feel a true mind-muscle connection because all your other muscles will engage while you try to do that action. But if you start small and do something like a concentration curl with a light weight, then you can develop a mind-muscle connection, you can develop competency and confidence within that movement, and slowly you will build up to be able to do that larger weight. See, the thing is here, the same thing is with sharing your feelings with other men. There's a lot of influencers out there who say things like, if you ever experience any issues, I want you to reach out to someone. You need to share how you're feeling. While this is a very important message, it lacks the clarity needed. If you can't talk about the small problems, you will never be able to talk about the big problems. This doesn't mean I want to go to my male friends and tell them like, oh my god, I hate how James said this about how I look. It made me feel really insecure. Realistically, that is not going to happen. We are wired differently. But here's a way that you can go about it that will help you with your productivity as well. I started a self-development group with like-minded friends, and we all had a habit that we wanted to track individually. Every single day we would screenshot our progress on our habit tracker and send it on a group message. It started off as just sending the screenshots, and then slowly we built up to talking about how we experienced our day. And then an idea from a few productivity YouTubers popped up constantly. They had this concept about having a highlight of the day. This is where you would choose one area of productivity that you would base your day around. If you completed this task, then you would know that this day was truly productive. And it was a great way to ground yourself within the grind that we find ourselves in. Because I know a lot of men are looking at a very tall mountain to climb. So we started doing this within our group chat. We would share our highlight of the day based on productivity. And then there was a day where my productivity in particular came to a decline because of my issue with my mental health. I wasn't doing the habits that made me feel good, like meditation and getting sunlight. And as a result, it made me slip into a lot of bad habits like procrastination. I didn't dive deep into the group chat to talk about these issues, but I just kind of hinted at it. And very luckily, my friends gave me some great support and encouragement, and it felt really good. Their insights help me realign my purpose and my focus without having to spend 2 hours at a coffee date talking about my problems. So this is the simple exercise that you can do with your self-development group if you want to have better mental health. Like I said, we need to start with the small weights before we get to the big weights. The indirect way of sharing your experiences in life is to share your highlight of the day with your friend group. But keep in mind to share this with like-minded people, because I know that there's friend groups out there that are just shit talks and meme sharing. That is not the group that you want to share these things with, because they will not be the people who can reciprocate your feelings. So find a group dedicated to self-development and then share your highlights of the day. I break down my highlight of the day into 2 categories: my experience and my creativity. My experience is one thing that I'm grateful for. It could be small, it could be big. And my productivity is the thing that I want to complete for this day. For me today, it's this video. And for my gratitude today, I saw a beautiful bird as I came out to the sunrise. And there will be days where things don't go quite as well, and you share those too. Very small things. Like, literally in the setup for this video, I smashed my ultra-wide monitor screen a little bit. I'm not even joking. Man, I wish I set that up for this video as a point to make, but no. So I'll be sharing that with them. But yeah, luckily the damage isn't too bad. But that small thing happening taught me a lot about what I have to be grateful for. The more I have, the more that I afford to lose. So yeah, as men, it is important to share your feelings, but you have to understand that you won't be able to share the big things if you don't start with the small things.